Everybody fell through if they didn't mind their P's and Q's. Billie stomped around in the sand pile till she got enough sand on her shoes to look convincing, and then she flew out of the park and up the steep hill past the Mount Zion Baptist Church. When she cut down Maple Street, Billie did a victory jig. Home was safe. A house painted robin's egg blue. Though she liked the color of Lucy's house best, yellow like sunshine, she was proud of where she lived. It was the only house on the block that didn't need painting. A neglected house ain't nothing but a sign of pure D laziness, her grandmother always said. Everybody called her grandmother Queen, including Billie. She ruled the roost. If you walked into Queen's house, you'd answer to her, no matter who you were. She was probably waiting behind the door now to ask Billie a gazillion questions. She'd want to know about every minute Billie hadn't been under her watchful eye. Lollygagging, Billie waved at Miss Quannabelle Smith watering petunias on her front porch next door. "How's your sweet mama doing, child?" the old woman called. "Fine, thank you, Miss Quannabelle." Billie couldn't put off going inside any longer. If she stayed in the yard, Miss Quannabelle would keep her the rest of the afternoon asking foolish questions. Waving once more, Billie skipped up the steps and eased open the door. The house smelled like lye soap and fried chicken. As if Billie needed further evidence that Queen was in the kitchen bent over an iron skillet with a dishpan of soapy water nearby, she heard Ma Perkins on the Philco radio giving her silly advice. Queen never missed an episode. As far as Billie was concerned, the only good thing about Ma Perkins was that she might cover up the sound of a little girl who didn't like rules sneaking down the hall. "Is that you, Billie?" Queen hollered. "Yes, ma'am." Queen would whip you if you didn't mind your manners, and talking polite topped her manners list. "Has you been playing with Lucy?" Billie could hear her grandmother shuffling around in the kitchen. She crossed her fingers behind her back. Everybody knows if you tell a lie, that way it won't count. "No, ma'am." House shoes scuffed on worn linoleum, and then Queen herself appeared in the kitchen doorway, carrying with her the scent of sugar and grease. She was tall, voluminous, and black as a stovepipe. Her eyebrows looked like two gray woolly worms above her dark eyes, and her grizzled hair stuck out every which way. You'd be scared to death of her if you didn't know how she'd read the Bible to you every night, then sing you to sleep. Billie tried not to squirm while her grandmother looked her up and down. "How you done tore them shorts?" "In the park." "Uh-huh," Queen mumbled. "That peanut's got spinal meningitis. If I catches you over there, I'll whip you good, you hear?" "Yes, ma'am, I hear." "All right, then." Queen wiped her hands on a big bibbed apron. "Be quiet now. Your mama's sleeping." When Queen went back into the kitchen, she left behind the scent of supper, fried chicken, boiled okra, and fried apple pies. Billie's favorites, except for the okra, which tasted like slime. She grabbed the paper off the hall table, then tiptoed to her room. Now was her chance to read the comic strips before Mama and Queen separated the paper into a gazillion sections. Beetle Bailey was her favorite, but she liked Dennis the Menace, too. He wasn't scared to try any adventure. She plopped onto the homemade quilt on top of her bed. Queen had let Billie pick her own design, and she'd picked wedding ring. Someday she planned on marrying and having 4 kids, and you could bet your bottom dollar they'd have a daddy in the house, not some long-distance daddy you'd never seen and only heard about when the other kids in the neighborhood yelled things like, "Prison brat," and "Yo daddy ain't nothing but a jailbird." That was the main reason Billie had earned her quick-fisted reputation. She didn't know if her daddy was in prison or not, and Queen and Mama wouldn't tell her. Either way, she wasn't about to let anybody say dirty, rotten things about him. Billie perched on the bed among her treasures. A shoebox with a blue rhinestone earring she'd found on the ground near Glenwood Cemetery at the south end of Shakerag. Half a robin's egg shell fallen from a tree where Alice had been seen. A redbird's feather Billie might glue on her summer straw hat. And 2 smooth white rocks she'd found along Gum Pond, another place her mama had